will never concede.
Outnumbered, brave law enforcement officers fought hand to save our democracy. Many were wounded. One died the next day. We know what we saw. We know what we heard. It wasn't spontaneous. They came prepared for battle. Body armor, chemical weapons, zip ties. Their mission, to overturn an American election. Post-traumatic stress syndrome drove 4 January 6th heroes to suicide. Donald Trump calls this violent terrorism a day of love.
That was a day of love.
He's
Trumpy's having a meltdown, folks. The Lincoln Project just dropped a bomb on him, and he's going bananas. You won't believe the tantrum he's throwing. Is the big bad president losing his marbles? We've got the scoop on Trump's latest Twitter tirade, and it's juicier than a well-done steak with ketchup. Stick around to see how the Donnie Diapers show is unfolding in real time. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great. Thank you so much. Now back to the video.
We know what we heard. There are no alternative facts. Only the truth. To pardon these violent criminals. That's wrong. Evil.
Those people have suffered long and hard. And I think it's very unfair.
Don't let one man rewrite history. We know what we saw.
Alright folks, it's time to talk about the ad that's got our favorite orange turd in a tizzy. The Lincoln Project just dropped a new video, and let me tell you, it's spicier than Trump's KFC order with extra grease. So what's in this ad that's got Donnie Diapers all worked up? Well, it's a real doozy. Picture this. Our fearless leader struggling to drink water like a big boy.
He's too old. He's out of touch, losing his marbles at an alarming rate.
They have sinks where no water comes out.
I do want to remind everybody, this is the guy that worked with the former Klansman.
I will be Donald Trump's most loyal advocate to make sure his nominees go to the Supreme Court.
You turn it on, no water comes out. You want to wash your hands, right?
Yeah.
And you've seen this, and you turn on the sink and it's very little.
Yep, you heard that right. The ad shows Trump fumbling with a glass of water like it's his first time using opposable thumbs. But wait, there's more. We also get treated to a slow motion replay of Trump's epic battle with gravity on a ramp at West Point. It's like watching a toddler take their first steps, except this toddler is supposedly running the country.
Full of his struggles and ramblings and rantings and mumbling and bumbling and stumbling. You decide. Take a look.
I find it awkward. I find it embarrassing. He's really in the early stages of some kind of senile dementia.
They've deliberately surrendered our border to vicious coyotes and drug smugglers. I mean, these drug smugglers, the smuggler, a smuggler!
But the Lincoln Project didn't stop there. Oh no, they went for the jugular. Remember when Trump bragged about passing a cognitive test? You know, the one where he had to identify basic shapes and animals? Well, the ad takes that moment and turns it into comedy gold. It's like watching a 5-year-old proudly declare they can count to 10, except this 5-year-old has nuclear codes. Now, here's where it gets really juicy. The ad doesn't pull any punches when it comes to describing our commander-in-chief. They straight up call him weak and impotent.
He speaks in rhyme.
In rhyme? What do you...
Well, the way she talks, the bus will go here and then the bus will go there because that's what buses do. And it's weird. I hope they now go and take a look at the oranges of the investigation, the beginnings.
It's more than awkward and embarrassing. It's actually dangerous. Having someone with his mental state, to me, is terrifying.
Ouch, that's gotta hurt more than his spray tan stings his eyes. These words are like kryptonite to a guy who thinks he's Superman in a too long red tie. But here's the kicker. People are starting to wonder if maybe, just maybe, the Lincoln Project is onto something. Is Grumpy Trumpy losing his marbles faster than he's losing his hair? The ad's got folks questioning whether the guy in charge of the big red button can even find it anymore. And boy oh boy, did this thing spread like wildfire. Faster than you can say, cuff F. The ad was all over social media. People were laughing, sharing, and adding their own zingers faster than Trump can tweet fake news in all caps. Ever wonder what happens when you combine a fragile ego, tiny fingers, and a smartphone?
He can't finish a sentence.
An anonymous
really an ominous.
The man doesn't know where he's going. He doesn't know where the exit is. He's not sure how to get through a speech.
Mr. President,
being corrupt and senile is even worse.
old, outdated, retired, elderly, aging, senile, dementia, slow, confused, idiot, ignorant, sleepy, gaff, bumbling, bad, terrible, disappointing, joke, profanity.
Being corrupt is bad.
Well, folks, Trump's about to give us a masterclass in how not to handle criticism. Spoiler alert, it involves more caps lock than a teenager's first AIM screen name. Our favorite orange turd just couldn't resist the urge to respond to the Lincoln Project's ad. It's like he's got an itch he can't scratch, and that itch is called staying quiet when you really should. As soon as he saw that ad, you could almost hear the gears grinding in that rusty old noggin of his. And then, faster than you can say cuff-F, the Twitter storm began. Now, we've seen some Twitter meltdowns in our time, but this one, it's like watching a train wreck in slow motion. You know you shouldn't look, but you just can't help it. Trump's tweets started flying faster than hair plugs in a wind tunnel, and each one was more unhinged than the last. But here's the kicker. The more Trump tweeted, the more people saw the ad. It's like a political version of the Streisand effect, except instead of a beach house, it's Trump's dignity that's getting exposed. And boy, is it a sight to behold. The comedians are having an absolute field day with this one. One of them said Trump's Twitter feed looked like a toddler's tantrum converted into emojis. I mean, can you picture it? Little cartoon faces getting redder and redder with steam coming out of their ears. That's our Donnie Diapers in a nutshell. Another comedian compared Trump's response to a Jenga tower during an earthquake. Now that's an image that'll stick with you. Just imagine those tiny hands trying to steady a tower that's already wobbling like crazy. It's almost enough to make you feel sorry for the guy. Almost. But the real comedy gold is coming from social media users. One of them suggested that Trump might declare war on Saturday Night Live next. I mean, why stop at Twitter when you can take on the entire comedy industry, right? Another user asked if Trump's hair was getting oranger with each tweet. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if it was. Anger does strange things to a person's complexion, especially when that complexion is already the color of a traffic cone. The funniest part of all this? Trump's reaction is proving the ad's point better than the ad itself ever could. It's like he saw the Lincoln Project saying, hey, this guy's losing it, and thought, I'll show them. I'll lose it even harder. Way to go, Grumpy Trumpy. You really showed them. Well, folks, it looks like our favorite orange-tinted toddler-in-chief has done it again. In his desperate attempt to prove he's not losing his marbles, Trump's gone and scattered them all over Twitter for everyone to see. Talk about a self-own of epic proportions. You know, in politics, sometimes the best response is no response at all. But don't tell that to Grumpy Trumpy. We're having way too much fun watching this Twitter tantrum unfold. It's like he's determined to prove the Lincoln Project right with every caps lock rant and misspelled insult. Here's a wild idea. Maybe instead of firing off tweets faster than he can eat a bucket of KFC, Trump could try something revolutionary, like keeping his mouth shut. But let's face it, asking Trump to stay quiet is like asking a fish to climb a tree. It's just not in his nature, folks. And honestly, who are we to complain? This circus is comedy gold.